Muslims want us to be governed by Sharia law. They want non-believers to be killed. And all refugees are Muslim. And the government isn't going to stop them. I need to share this straight away.
But this information's wrong and misleading.
But she says she's a politician, so why would she lie?
Well, let's take a look. So this information is being provided to us by someone somewhere in the world through the use of the internet.
But what is the internet?
Well, when the internet started, defined as Web 1, we could actively consume information produced by a single author.
You mean like Britannica Online, personal websites and directories?
Yeah, exactly. Web 2, on the other hand, came later and was first penned by O'Reilly, who described it as being made up of collaborative intelligence and being user-generated, meaning information can be collaboratively created and is suggested to you based on the interests of other web users.
So like Google, Wikipedia, Facebook and Instagram?
Correct. And the affordances of Web 2 mean that information can be disseminated across multiple platforms at once, with audiences multiplied within seconds, where people can share their own opinions and interpretations of text, affording them the role of producers rather than merely consumers, with information often going unchecked. So if anyone can post anything they wish to online, what's to stop them from lying or misleading others to suit their own agendas? Let's say intolerant agendas. Well, Powell and Rosal define critical literacy as a way of looking at embodied understandings within text as opposed to a surface reading of text. It's not just about looking at the information presented, but critiquing it. Where was it published? Who's the author? What are they saying? Why is it being shared? And Jenks argued that this is important as it not only allows us to recognise where power lies within a text or evaluate hidden intentions, but it's also about social justice. Who speaks and who is silenced? Who benefits and who doesn't? So we could extend this critical literacy approach further by adopting a new literacies one, namely one where literacy is viewed as a social practice, by which I mean something that we do. If we consider this, we can acknowledge that materials are not neutral but are nested in multiple intermingling relations, which can cultivate or impact our identities. And from a socio-cultural view, literacy is created within cultural, political, social and economic contexts. But resulting from the unrestricted digital space of Web 2, counterculture websites flourish, increasing the rate of cultural intolerance both online and offline, and this can be done through the use of hyperlinks to news sources, references to research and interpretations of official data. By using trusted sources, internet users can legitimize intolerance by presenting misleading information in an academic, political and trusted tone. So if we ask some critical literacy questions about this website, what do you think we'd find? Views associated with the far right and Islamophobia, links to notorious far right figures and other anti-Islam organisations, also beliefs that climate change is a hoax.
So what's that got to do with education?
Well, if we think of education as a process of learning new skills and acquiring new knowledge, it would be valid to ask here who decides what skills and what knowledge is learnt. And since someone somewhere decided this on behalf of learners, it can be argued that education positions some people as being more powerful and as owners of the truth. And this is similar to the views of Frere, who argued that we shouldn't be simply banking the decided skills and knowledge into the minds of learners, but we should instead create a problem posed in education which is driven by a learner's agency and brings about their critical consciousness. But what we find on the UK's national ICT curriculum is reflective of this banking approach. In fact, it states that the purpose of ICT study, last updated in 2013, is to learn how digital systems work, how to use technology, and how to create digital content. And whilst it does claim to ensure learners are digitally literate, it appears to only be in a sense of creating content rather than learning to critique and evaluate content others have created, which Gilster would argue is required as part of digital literacy. So it's not enough to simply provide equipment and software to learners, but take a multi-literacies approach by questioning and critiquing semiotic resources and the meanings created by combining them to participate in society so that they don't, for example, accept intolerant opinions as fact.